דוד מלכי משיחו.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank.
You have competition outside, so you have competition.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Shmuel Zalmanov. I don't think he's here now, but I want to thank him for organizing the Hilton Base Abira and all the Siyumim that we just heard. There'll be Siyumim even after Mashiach, even when Mashiach comes, we'll continue making Siyumim. At the beginning of the 3 weeks, the Choshev Agaber of Dudi Pachoshnik, he spoke about the Shmiras HaMikdosh, about the Levim and the Kohanim, and how many Shomrim there were, and where they were in different opinions. He said it's not clear. So I want to elaborate not so much on that prat, but about the Shmiras HaMikdosh. The Rambam in Perek Tes, Halacha Aleph, he writes like this: Shmiras HaMikdosh mitzvahs asay. It's a mitzvah to have shomrim, to have guards by the Beis HaMikdosh. Va'af al pi she'ein shom pachad le'oivim v'leim listim. Even though there's no fear from the enemies or from people like Ganovim who are going to come to steal things from the Beis HaMikdosh, that's not why you have the shomrim. You still have to have shomrim. Why? She'ein shmirosai elo kovid loy. It's a kovid for the Beis HaMikdosh to have shomrim. Ein edayim paltrin sheyesh olav shomrim, the paltrin she'ein olav shomrim. You can't compare a palace that has guards, the palace that doesn't have guards. The palace that has guards is more kosher, more bakovid. Then in Halacha Beis, the Rambam says, "Ushmira zu mitzvoso kol halaylo." This shmira could be a whole night. That could be the shomrim. And who are the shomrim? The Kohanim, the Levim. And it brings a right from the Apostle, V'achol banach yitoch t'fei elo edus, that they have to be the shomrim. And then in Halacha Gimel, that if there was no shomrim, they're able on the leisas. That's the Rambam. So the Rebbe asks, if it's a COVID for the Beis HaMikdosh to have shomrim, so why does the Rambam say that there's only shomrim only at night? The mitzvah is only at night. The period should be 24/7, by day and at night. So the Rebbe asks, why is it that only the mitzvah is only at night? And furthermore, from the psukim of the Torah, it looks like the shomrim that there has to be shomrim all the time. The Rebbe also asks another little deal about why in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, not in the Sefer Rambam, he doesn't bring it down, but in the Sefer HaMitzvahs of the Rambam, he brings down that part of the mitzvah is to walk around the Beis HaMikdash. What's this Indian to walk around the Beis HaMikdash? So the Rebbe answers this question by answering another question. What's the other question? There's a phrase in a Mishnah in Talmud, and the same phrase is repeated again in the Masechta Midos. And that is that the Gimel Mekoyim HaKohanim Shomrim, Beis HaMoiked, Beis HaTinnis, Beis HaMoiked, and Beis HaNitzutz. So that phrase, that there's 3 places that the Kohanim watch, and the 3 places that it's mentioned where they have to stand while they're watching, is said in the Masechta Talmud. And the same phrase again is in Masechta Midos. Masechta Talmud, Masechta Midos come one after the other in Shas. So the Rebbe asks, why is the same phrase repeated twice in the Mishnah, Sai Masechta Talmud and Sai Masechta Midos? So the Rebbe says that Shmiras HaMikdosh could be looked at in 2 different ways. One way is that it's a prat in the Beis HaMikdash. You have a Beis HaMikdash. What's a Beis HaMikdash? A Beis HaMikdash comprises of a building, a certain size, and it has in it kelim, and it has a oren, and it has a menorah, it has a mizbeach, and everything the way it's supposed to be built. Another prat in the Beis HaMikdash is that it has to have shomrim. That is part of the Beis Hamikdash. That's included in the Beis Hamikdash. Is the building with the kelim, with the shomrim. That is part of the Beis Hamikdash. That's one way of looking at the shomrim. Another way of looking at the shomrim is that the shmira was a part of the avodah. You have a Beis Hamikdash. In the Beis Hamikdash, there were certain avodas that they did, the kohanim and the levim. They did certain avodas. They brought korbanos, they lit the menorah. There was toilets, avodas that he did in the Beis Hamikdash, about the korban tamid every day. So another avodah in the Beis Hamikdash was that there had to be people that are watching it. It's part of the avodas of the Beis Hamikdash. So this is two ways of looking of the Inyan of Shmira. Is it something that has to do with the Heftzah, something that has to do with the Beis Hamikdash, the building of the Beis Hamikdash, and part of the Heftzah of the Beis Hamikdash is the Shmira? Or is it a gavre, it's part of the services, part of the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash that took place in the Beis Hamikdash? And this is the two reasons you can say it depends on why you have to have shomrim. If you have to have shomrim inside the COVID, then it's part of the Beis Hamikdash, it's part of the Kavtzin. You want the Beis Hamikdash, it's about COVID, it's a place where the Eibishter, the Shechina rests in the Beis Hamikdash. It's a very holy and special place, therefore it requires shomrim. If it's because that you want to make sure that Azor, somebody who's coming, or Yisrael shouldn't go into the wrong place, because Azor HaKorev is Hafechachayim. So in order that it should be, you want it to function properly, you have to have a shmira. Then it has to do part of the avodah of Beis Hamikdash. In the avodah of Beis Hamikdash, as we said, there's korbanos. Also part of the avodah is to make sure that people who are not supposed to be there shouldn't be there. So this is the two reasons how you can look at the shmira of the Beis Hamikdash. And that's why, says the Rebbe, you can answer why this phrase is mentioned twice, once in Masechta Tamid and once in Masechta Midas. Because in Masechta Tamid, it's talking about the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash. So in the avodah of Beis Hamikdash, there's an aspect of the shmira. In Masechta Midas talks about the building of the Beis Hamikdash and the size of the Beis Hamikdash. No, mitzad the Masechta Midas, mitzad the Beis Hamikdash, the building of the Beis Hamikdash, you have to have shomrim. So the Rebbe says, Yeshleimer, that the Rambam holds that the inyan of the shomrim is like it is in the Masechta Midas, that it has to do with the Beis Hamikdash, the Heftzah, the building of the Beis Hamikdash, and that's why you have to have shomrim, because it's a COVID. And the Rambam is leaning towards that reasoning of the shomrim, and that's why you can say that the Rambam brings the halacha. It's in Hilchas Beis Abchira. He doesn't bring it in the halachas of the Klei Hamikdash and the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash. He brings it in the Hilchas Beis Abchira, where it talks about the actual building of the Beis Hamikdash. Why? Because the Rambam holds that the COVID, that the inyan of the shmira is mitzad the COVID of the Beis Hamikdash. What is this inyan of shmira of the Beis Hamikdash, and what's the COVID? The COVID is that since the Beis Hamikdash is a holy place, so there has to be a time that there should always be people thinking and looking after the Beis Hamikdash, thinking about the Beis Hamikdash. There shouldn't be a time, there shouldn't be Hesach Hadas. Al derech, you have like film, since it's a Dover Shebidusha, you have to make sure that there shouldn't be Hesach Hadas. While you're wearing the film, you have to be thinking about the film. And the same thing, the tzitz, when you're wearing the tzitz, since the tzitz is very holy, there shouldn't be Hesach Hadas. And al derech zeh, since the Beis Hamikdash is so holy, therefore there has to be constantly 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there has to be thinking about the Beis Hamikdash. So during the day, when there's a void of Beis Hamikdash, so then the kohanim, they're busy with the Beis Hamikdash, therefore there's no problem about the Hesach Hadas. There's always kohanim working there, always doing avodah the Beis Hamikdash, avodah Hashem. So therefore there was no problem with Hesach Hadas. But at night, when there was no avodah taking place and nothing was happening, so you could think that it could be that there could be a time when nobody, no Yid is thinking about the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, you have to have shomrim at night, and with this also, that's why you have to go with lechus sviva. You have to go around it because that adds to the kavanah that you're having, that you're thinking about the Beis Hamikdash, that you're thinking about the Beis Hamikdash constantly. And the Rebbe also says that in using that the shmir of the Beis Hamikdash is that there shouldn't be a hesach hadas. We should always be thinking about the Beis Hamikdash. That's shaykh even today. Even today, even though there's no Beis Hamikdash verkehrt, we can always be thinking about it, and by through learning about the Beis Hamikdash, we get the Nisayr to have a chugah for the Beis Hamikdash. But al kol panim, we should always be thinking about the Beis Hamikdash, not only the Kohanim Levim, but everybody should be thinking about the Beis Hamikdash. I want to add is we say every day we say in Tillim in the Rebbe's kapitel. The Rebbe doesn't say this in the Sikha, but we say Shira Miles David Samachti Ba'emrim Li Beis Hashem Nele. That David HaMelech said, Samachti, I rejoiced, I was happy when people said, Beis Hashem Nele, let's go, we're going to the Beis Hamikdash. So Rashi, until then, brought down from the Gemara, I think there's a Medrash also, explains, there was no Beis Hamikdash. In the time of David, there was no Beis Hamikdash. In fact, everybody knew, Nosson HaNovi came and told David HaMelech that he's not going to be the one to build the Beis Hamikdash, but his son, Shlomo, is going to build the Beis Hamikdash. So what says the Samachti, B'emrim Beis Hashem Neilach, there was no Beis Hamikdash. But so Rashi says that David HaMelech, he heard that people were saying, Mosai Yomuz Zokin, when will this old man, when will he die already, so we can have the Beis Hamikdash? So he was David HaMelech, even though he knew that it's going to happen after he passes away, nevertheless, Samachti, he was happy. Why? Because there was a chukah for the Beis Hamikdash. He didn't care that it's going to happen. Abida should be a Beis Hamikdash. He was happy to hear that the people wanted. They couldn't wait already to have a Beis Hamikdash. The Marsha says that it's not that they were hoping that he should die, but they knew that since Shlomo HaMelech was already alive then, he was around, so Shlomo HaMelech could have built the Beis Hamikdash. The Chayev of David HaMelech, that's what they wanted. They didn't want. But Rashi says that the people were saying, Mosai Yomos, when will he die, so we could have the Beis Hamikdash. That was their big chukah that they wanted the Beis Hamikdash. So the Yishul Helfen were today is Hey Mנחem, the Hilula of the Ariyah Kodesh will sein Yovei Ariel, the Yovei Aryeh, the Yivna Aryeh in Yovei Aryeh, the Chodesh Aryeh, the Yivna Ariel. We should have the Binyan Beis Hamikdash tonight.